park superintendent.
Oh. Really? I thought that's who it was. But I was wondering, why is he on the
I think
or just somebody else's name?
Oh, okay. Okay. Mason's such a common name.
Counting down.
why they can't play baseball.
Get ready to stand. Can they hear me? There she is. 10, 9. All rise, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's so weird. Do you
Stand up.
do you do the stand? Just turn your camera off.
Pretend you saw the
Easier.
flag. All right, good evening, everybody. Before the start of regular meeting tonight, we had a budget session meeting to discuss the financial implications of the pandemic and what we're going to be looking at for the next several months as we plan for the 2021 budget. And we also had an executive session on possible litigation in a matter involving perhaps one of our providers. So we'll have more information, maybe not, hopefully not any more information, see if that thing resolves all by itself. The other thing we discussed in an executive session, and we'll put out here for the rest of all of us to have an informed, have information about it. Judy Stern Goldstein, who was our land planner from Boucher and James, made a move to Gilmore and Associates. She would like to stay on as our land planner. Working now with a partnership with Gilmore and Associates. So I would like the board to entertain a motion to that effect that we accept Judy Stern Goldstein's move from Boucher and James to Gilmore and Associates.
I'd like to make the motion to keep Judy on, even though she's moving from Boucher to, sorry, can you hear me? Sorry. I'd like to make the motion to keep Judy Goldstein on, please.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, and discussion? Hearing none, calling the question, all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous, and you'll notice Judy Stern Goldstein about that decision. Okay, any visitor or public comment? Do we receive anything electronically?
We have not.
We have not. Okay, thank you. Announcements. We're next going to meet on Tuesday, June 16th at 5 p.m., and we're going to have a budget meeting on that day at 3 p.m. That's Tuesday, June 16th. We're going to be closed on May 25th in observance of Memorial Day and on June 2nd for primary election day. And the township outing, unfortunately, is canceled on August, and is canceled, but we will hold it nonetheless on August 24th. It's postponed technically to August 24th. So we're still accepting sponsorships and foursomes, so keep them coming in. The other thing is our general offices are open by appointment only. All staff is back functioning full-time basis unless they have a doctor's note. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. And they can still work from home.
Right.
And so if you need any township business, just give a call ahead of time, and I'm sure everything that you might need will be provided for you. But we're going to try and continue to do things remotely, but the general public should know that we're open and accessible. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of April 21st, 2020. Everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Yep. Any corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I will second.
Thank you. Nancy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is the correspondences regarding the tax concerns from 4 Windy Way Lane. You saw the email from the lady who tried to pay her taxes on time, but it didn't get postmarked accordingly. So she wants us to, what? What does she want us to do?
She would like to not have to pay the penalty.
But that's not her decision, is it?
For the township portion, it is.
Oh.
It's very rare, but You have dealt with these types of situations on a few occasions.
How much is the township portion?
Township portion is 702, or what would be in the face period now would be 716,
$7.16?
no, 706.
It's about $14.
Yeah.
That's not the discount amount she doesn't get.
Well, she wanted to pay the discount rate, but she would now have to pay in the face period, and she doesn't want to have to pay the
What's the difference between the discount number and the face?
$14 and change, right, Jen?
That's what I was asking.
Sorry.
Barb, if you recall, this this is not the first time this has happened. And I think it's less about the amount and it's more a matter of the kind of where we were last time. And if I recall last time, it was a very similar situation. And we did not approve that.
Just out of principle and policy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I get, I sympathize with it not being postmarked correctly, but like there's a lot of lead up time to when that had to be in, and I think it's, this idea of doing it at the last second, things can happen. Again, it's about setting a precedent going forward.
Okay. Jen, thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, based on the local tax collector code, you go by the postmark date. It's not when the person says they posted it, or it's in my professional career, I audit tax collectors. And if we saw a tax collector accepted a payment at discount when it should have been accepted at face based on the postmark date, we'd make the tax collector pay out of their pocket to reimburse. This
That's
is for the
harsh.
county. So that's the standard the county sets. And I think it's probably legitimate not to accept a lesser payment for this.
Okay, fair enough. What do you think, Nance?
No, I'm following.
Nancy is in agreement with Ryan and Jen at this point. Dan?
Yeah, I am.
You'd be the odd guy. No, Jen, I think it's unanimous that we can't help this lady out, as she requests.
We'll communicate that.
Okay, now we have did everyone have a chance to read the treatise from Mr. O'Malley on the fireworks and our, as he says, inappropriate ordinance? Mr. Garten, any thoughts on this? Or do you
Well,
want to take?
I think we talked about this at some length previously.
Yes.
Obviously, we have 2 new board members. I'd be happy to revisit it if you want me to, but I think the state does not regulate issues about when you can shoot off fireworks. It talks about how far away, talks about the nature of the firework, when you can sell them. And I think the board at that point felt that you have an obligation for the health, safety, and welfare of your residents, that people are not subjected to fireworks all hours of the day and every day of the week. So, I mean, I will be happy to revisit it with the 2 new board members if you so choose.
Does everyone, I think Dan is pretty much up to speed.
Yeah,
We
I
had
mean, I read the part in the state law that he referenced, and it seems in the next paragraph, we are well within our rights as a municipality to pass an ordinance regarding that.
All right, Nancy, you have anything? You understand what's going on here?
I think we should follow the law. And if that's where it falls out, then, we have the opportunity as the township to decide, and the timing.
Nancy's position is that we're within our rights to provide this ordinance. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Jen, you still there? Still on this?
Still here.
You still
Still
agree?
here. Yeah, I mean, I'll go by the advice of our solicitor.
Okay. Ryan, you're already on this one, right? Okay. Well, then what we can do is just send Mr. O'Malley that the board considered his concerns, and we're reaffirming our valid ordinance and all of its implications and enforcement. Right, Chief? Yes. Got a nod from the chief.
Just trying to, I was just reading it real
He's
quick.
reading the whole thing.
No, not the whole thing. I was just trying to figure out where the location was.
That doesn't require a vote, does it, Jeffrey?
No, because you're not taking any official action, you're just not choosing to change what already exists.
Thank you. Okay, so Doylestown Township Ordinance Number 392 is in full force and effect. Okay, next item on the agenda, any reports from the solicitor?
Nothing at the moment.
We have no engineer here, so Chief?
I have nothing to report.
Director of Ops?
Yes, I have a few items. First is the 2020 road program and bid rejection. On April 4th, we received 3 bids for the 2020 road program via the Penn bid system. The plans and specifications were prepared by Boucher and James, and we advertised the project. The project was for removal of existing curbing, installation of new curbing, base paving repair, milling. I can read the roads off if you'd like me to, but basically, we received 3 bids. Harris Blacktop Incorporated. Bid was $1,270,410.47. I outlined a couple of reasons why I'm recommending the bid rejection at this time. Number one is, as I reported to you back in 2019 regarding the budget work sessions for 2020 budget, I said that the project would be based on how quickly Bucks County Water and Sewer moves through the project and through the roads, as well as the DTMA regarding their water line installation project. And the other piece to this is also the availability of the funding that we have for the replacement of the curbs. The engineer's estimate is $1.39 approximately $1 million. So it was under the engineer's estimate. However, a component of that project was a alternate bid for the installation of the crosswalk at the Cross Turk Road at Pebble Ridge Road into Turk Park 2. That was well above the engineer's estimate, almost double. So at this point, because of the delay in the project, with the sewer project with the DTMA, who at this point we spoke with Mr. Haas, the executive director of the DTMA. He is basically going to have discussion with his board next month in June to determine if they're going to move forward with the water project and how they're going to proceed. And at this point, I think that because of those reasons, I'm recommending we reject the bids and we rebid the project with just doing base paving this year. We defer the curb installation, and with the savings, we would also look at moving to other roads within the municipality to pave some other neighborhoods that are in need of paving and we've been putting off for a number of years. So that's my recommendation at this point.
Was the cost of oil and petroleum products a consideration in your rebidding?
It was a consideration, but again, we don't have we don't know how much they'll drop, but there's a possibility we could see some savings. It was one of them, but yes, it was.
Did you have any discussion with Mr. Haas about if they go through with the water line installations over that area, if they're going to contribute to the resurfacing of the roadwork?
I have had the discussion with Mr. Haas. He is open to that discussion, and he's understanding that there would be some costs for restoration that the DTMA would be responsible for. And I think that's something that, like the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority is reimbursing us for their trench restoration, the DTMA is open to discussions regarding their cost sharing as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, so we don't need to take any action, do we?
Yes, you
do.
You need a motion to reject the bids.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course. Is there a motion to reject the bids?
Make a motion to reject the bids.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Dan was first. By the way, just before we move on, the roads that we're talking about that were bid out were Pebble Ridge Road, Pebble Crest Road, Stony Lane Circle, Stony Lane, Woodridge Drive, and Shady Brook Circle. So those are all going to be set aside for now, and then other areas done. Well,
no, not exactly. So let me talk about the rebid really quick. So Pebble Ridge Road was base repaired last year. We actually took advantage of some work that was done and did that road and did paving upwards of $120,000 worth of base paving and milling last year. So the roads we've been looking to, at a minimum, try to do once DTMA and Bucks County Water and Sewers out of the way is Woodridge Drive. Shady Brook Circle is done, I'm sorry, so let's go with Pebble Crest, maybe one, Stony Lane Circle, and Woodridge Drive. And if there's additional work that's done that we can take advantage of and do some more base paving, we would,
Okay.
later in the year. So we're trying to take advantage of a stretch schedule and because
Okay.
they lost 30 days and do that.
All right. So that, thanks for that clarification. There's a motion and a second. I'm going to call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right. Next up is, you have something else?
Yes, I have two more items. And the next in line is the 2017 Arley grant for the installation of 2 rapid rectangular flashing beacons, 2 locations. On on Easton Road, near Turk Road, the crosswalk, the bike hike trail there by Coots Elementary, and the crosswalk between the parking lots between Turk 1 and 2. This is an Arley grant from PennDOT, is 100% reimbursement. The engineering was completed. It went out to bid. Your memo from Pannoni shows that we received 3 bids. Armour and Sons Electric was the low bidder for $75,650 for the construction and installation of the beacons. I'm asking the board to award the contract to Armour, move forward with that project because it is 100% reimbursement. We'll get those money back and we'll get that project off the books.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the award of the contract to Armour and Sons Electric?
I'll make that motion.
Jen, one.
I'll second the
Nancy,
motion.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Aye.
Good. That's unanimous, who's ever keeping score. All right, Central Park lighting.
Okay. This project has been on the books for a while. So the way we planned to do this project was that we were going to purchase the lighting fixtures and the poles directly as a CoStarz purchase from a distributor, and that the construction, the installation of the poles and prefabricated foundations would be bid out. This recommendation is for the award of the bids to install the poles and the foundations. On April 7th, we opened up 6 bids for the Central Park lighting project. Basically, the low bidder is U.S. Solutions. The amount of their bid is $102,670, and I'm making the recommendation the board award them that contract for the installation of the poles and the foundations. I will have an award recommendation probably the next board meeting for the procurement of the material, which would be the poles and the lights. The poles and the lights that we're proposing would match what's out here outside the township building, and it would carry through to the park, the loop road, and all the parking lots. So they're energy efficient LED lights, just similar to what's out here. So really just kind of improve the look and things as the existing lights are past their lifespan and use, and they're in need of replacement.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the award of this contract to U.S. Solutions. Money's coming from the offsite fund. Is there a motion to approve?
Sure, I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Dan was second.
We have the time delay advantage.
Yeah, there's a time delay. We got that.
That's fine.
Okay, are you finished there, Mr.?
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Township manager?
Yes, and Karen Sweeney, our Director of Parks and Recreation, is on the Zoom call with us this evening, and she has prepared a very detailed memo along with a lot of backup information that she and her colleagues have been working on regarding the reopening of our parks after this COVID-19 pandemic situation. So Karen, do you want to walk the board through very briefly your recommendations and information?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. You have the memo I presented you. We did a lot of research, hours and hours of research. I think it was explained in the memo. And what we've done is we're currently in red, and our interest and my interest was starting to look at what does yellow look like? What could we move into and start to include and open in our park system? Yellow is not terribly different than red, but we think we can get a little bit of movement. The bigger move will come during green. I do know now, as of today, that our state organization has been in touch with the governor's office again by invite. So we're hoping to get some more information, possibly a little bit this week, but that's not likely. It might be a little bit later than that. We're most of my colleagues camps have already gone down or are going down. They will not be running this year. Several of the pools are going down. It has a lot to do with social distancing and the ability to deliver services safely and move forward with making sure that we honor the health, safety, and welfare of our communities. As you know, the last thing I want to do is take down programs. All of our summer programs and services were planned. This is not something we want to do, but we don't feel that we can offer a lot of things safely. And if we can get our community back into the parks at some level, at least self-directed, I think that's a great way to start as we navigate through yellow. And as we get more clearances and more information, it is a moving target, and we would continue to open as quickly as possible and return to normal or the new normal as we're able.
Okay.
If anybody has any questions about anything in the memo, I'd be happy to address that.
No, I think it's pretty comprehensive, and your recommendations are spot on. Do you have you canceled the summer concert series? Have you notified all the?
Not yet. I was waiting tonight. We did pull off on the fireworks. You know, that's thousands of people. We don't know effectively at this point what green brings. We know it is not wide open. We know there's numbers to that. We know that our concert series draws large crowds and also crowds from outside the area. And in deference to our community and safety, I have to offer that recommendation. I did speak with our insurance company as well, Scott Miles, who felt that that was a prudent decision at this point. My intent, my desire would be to work with our performers and see if we can move the schedule as is to 2021 and see if I can negotiate with them to take some of those deposits with us. I know we're probably going to have to pay a little bit. I know some of our larger contracted performers have expressed that they would work with us in any way possible. So I think we'll be in pretty good shape to do that. If we get some opportunity heading into the later months of the summer and can do something in celebration of our community, we have the skills and the ability and wherewithal to pull something together and celebrate our community reconnection and re-engagement. So I think it's a prudent decision at this point.
That sounds good, Karen. I think you got consensus from the board to follow your recommendation, right? Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did have a question. Can I get some clarification on a pretty nasty topic? We have an outline of what we would do with restrooms. What about the portable toilets that we have in some of our parks? How are they cared for?
The consensus, and the reason I refer to we is that it's the Bucks County Park and directors that have been working together collectively to try to maintain, since we all work in Bucks County, to try to see where we can come together in terms of consistency and offering similar comments and recommendations to our elected officials and our managers. Some have taken them out altogether. Some are increasing cleaning with the companies that provide them, and some are going use at your own risk. So it's really wide.
Do you have a recommendation?
At this point, we're not in a position to do any rentals, and we might have some self-directed movement where we have porta potties. There isn't great need. It would be an expense. I think we have to look at where we can mitigate some expenses too. And at this point, I would either.
Do we have any porta potties anywhere?
Yes. They're at Sourman, Turk, the Turk.
That's what I thought. So they're being maintained.
They are being maintained, and maybe if Dave can jump in, I'm not sure what the service schedule is at this point.
They're not locked at this point?
They're not locked.
So okay. Is it use at your own risk, basically?
Yep.
Okay.
Some folks are actually doing disinfecting. That's a gray area. It's a discussion that we're having some struggles with, because as soon as somebody touches something, whatever was disinfected, we're done.
I think they all should have a use at your own risk sign. What? Oh,
there has to be some personal accountability. If people, if the porta potties are there and people want to use them, they obviously, are taking that mitigated risk to go in. So, we can't we can't control every aspect here.
Yeah, I agree.
All porta potties at this point do come with sanitizer in them. We do need to make some temporary signage, and I think that noting that these are not maintained or cleaned on a regular basis, that we recommend that you bring your own wipes or sanitizer. Jeff might be able to help us out a little bit on this one.
They're not
Well,
even
it
supposed
never
to be there.
hurts never hurts to remind people as they go in the consequences. So I think appropriate signage about not being clean at your own risk makes appropriate sense.
Chief has a comment.
I actually have a question for you. This is great information for me to use to parlay into events outside of the park. Does the board want to give me any direction as to, and specifically Sinclair, with issuing the permits for special events outside of our campus here? For example, we're not going to have any runs or 5K races in our township parks. Should we be signing off on permits for, say, a 5K race to be held at the YMCA or the hospital or these other events?
I think not. We should
would
not be
tend to-
sponsoring such events with permits.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good direction for us to have because we're still getting them and they're kind of out in limbo right now.
Yeah.
Waiting for them. Most of them have canceled on their own, but it'd be nice to be able to tell them we're not going to approve it
Right.
as we move forward.
I think that's safe to say.
All right, thank you.
Did you hear his comment?
Thanks for all your
Karen?
work,
I
Karen.
did. I think too, Chief, the question comes into play, how far out are people looking to file for permits, right? Are they looking for the June, July, August timeframe? Are they looking for September, October, November? I don't know how early these things come in.
I think once we got to that, I mean, correct me wrong, Karen, if I'm wrong, doesn't this include the yellow phase?
Yes, yellow phase is 25 people with social distancing. So it's very hard to do an awful lot of those events if they can manage within those guidelines. But I think it's very hard. All of our events, as you know, our applications come in early in the year for the majority of the year, and all of our external events have canceled on their own volition at this point through the end of September. So we only have 2 hanging out there, and I'm okay with that because we don't know what it looks like. But again, one of the CDC recommendations is don't go far from home. So I'd also encourage the board that we don't want to bring a lot of people in at this point either.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Karen, I think your dog park people, because it is a private park and tends
Not
to
a
be,
private park. It's not a private park.
well,
Membership.
membership.
Oh, membership.
I'm sorry, membership related that, I saw your recommendation about the 10 people or less, I think makes sense. I personally haven't seen more than 6 when I've been in there, but I go at odd times, but I think that might be a nice, something I'd like to look at too.
I think we can do that once we get to yellow.
Yep, agreed.
And as long as the members are, I didn't make up these rules. These are rules that we've gathered through a number of conversations and trying to find a way to move forward with this type of activity. And the reasons why the CDC is recommending dog parks not be opened is the very reason we're recommending people wear masks while they're there. It shouldn't be that burdensome. And I think the 10 on either side is a good move, and it gets us some forward momentum. And hopefully the members can respect that.
Yeah, I just have to thank Karen and her colleagues. I think what's good about this is that most of them are all, and from the conversations I've had, is that they're all going to be on the same page. So regardless of where you may go, the consistency will be there throughout Bucks County. And I think, kudos for working so hard on this for us.
Curious, Karen, you said your colleagues and you were talking to the governor's office about certain things now. What are you talking to them about?
We're not directly talking to them. We're doing it through our state organization. I think Bucks County is one of the very red areas, and all of us planning so far ahead. We're actually now looking at fall programs, and the unknown. We through our state approached our state organization realizing that we also have colleagues across the state, and said, can you take some leadership in this, much like the supervisor would have PSATs or Stephanie would have APMM. And they've taken on that task. So collectively in Bucks County, we formulated across the state, but we did it collectively as Bucks County, formulated a number of questions that we were struggling with on how to move forward and what we can and can't do. And even more so than yellow, that transition toward green. And they were able to make contact, which we probably individually would not have been able to do. And as recently as Saturday, they were back in conversation. And the feel I got back from it was that we even took them by surprise of what we do, what our services and programs and delivery opportunities in the parks are.
Okay, sounds good.
So we're waiting for feedback at this point in time, but they did take it seriously.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, thanks, Karen. Good work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
No business. Next item. Oh, wait, supervisors. Jen, we'll start with you. Comments from supervisor?
Nothing to report. It was good to see everybody.
Oh, you too. Nancy, you have anything?
I actually had a couple of thoughts about COVID in general. Sorry, I'll pull this closer. I just lost my computer. Just doing a little reflections on where we're at and all the families and shop owners and healthcare workers. And I also reached out to Marion Mass, who is an incredible resource and pediatrician. And also just worth my connections with the district in terms of the fear that it's creating in the mental health issues that we are all experiencing either with our own families or our own children. And just had a couple of thoughts, sorry, just pulling it up. So I just felt the responsibility as a new supervisor to sort of say a couple of things that, you know, some of the fear I think is fueled by faulty data, and we need to remember that. We're seeing examples like in Colorado where the numbers were, once they were re-examined, went down 20%. And hospitals are also having have a perverse incentive to have their coders code for COVID because of the third federal COVID bill from March 26. In PA, on Monday, the reports, the deaths were around a little over 4,400, and there were 62,000 positive cases, and was roughly a 7% death rate. But there's a chance of less than 15% of being hospitalized under 64. I think the national death rate metrics is difficult to be calculated because of the various the multiple variables. And I wanted to just think we should look at it holistically and remember that be cautious of the overcoding. When I reached out to Marion Mass, like I said, she's a pediatrician and graduate of Duke Medical School. Her quote, which I really liked, was, I am seeing teenagers in despair of having a normal life. I have parents of young kids in despair of being able to raise their children with joy and without divisiveness. It's time to meld the medical science, statistics, and common sense of humanity with an eye on our children and the future. She's calling for the reopening guided by practicing physicians and for vulnerable to remain isolated. They must not be allowed to foster divisiveness and hopelessness among the rest of our citizens, and don't allow arbitrary color coding systems for the reopening of the state. I'm hopeful with the numbers dropping that we heard about, grocery stores and workers in restaurants now really implementing the PPE and the public practicing social distancing guidance, and with the guidance of our medical community, we'll be able to focus on our vulnerable populations and look at our numbers differently and really open our township and limit the permanent damage to local businesses. So just wanted to sort of share how I feel because I'm losing a lot of sleep over it. I've got family. I've got an older parent here too who's had surgery this week, and I'm really passionate about our community, and so those were just some of my thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Dan, you have anything?
Yeah, a couple things to go over real quick. The EAC had our first remote meeting last week. It went pretty well. They are still looking for a new member. On water and sewer news, we are still working on the Woodridge Pebble Ridge project. They're slightly delayed because of COVID-19, but recently it's been more weather related. A lot of rain giving them issues in one of the trenches they're trying to dig, but once they get that done, should be in good shape. And then I just have two other quick things to bring up. Bucks County, the Board of Commissioners have allocated $6 million for a program called Bucks Back to Work. It benefits our small businesses, and it's a grant program. It will provide up to $25,000 or 25% of a small business's annual operating expenses, whichever is lower. If you're a small business owner in Doylestown and you're interested in taking advantage of this program, the application period is on May 26th. And they will open at 5 a.m. and close at 9 p.m. It is only that day, and you can do it online or in person, although they would prefer you do it online. You can find more information on Bucks County's website, or bucksbacktowork@buckscounty.org is the email you can reach out to. And I also just wanted to make a note that this week is National Public Works Week, and to thank all of our hardworking public works folk that take care of our roads, trails, maintain our parks, everything they do for the township, and just wanted to acknowledge their hard work.
Thank you, Dan. That was very helpful information on the Bucks Back to Work program. Thank you.
Barbara, if I can, and to add on to that, I just, we posted today, the county's going to be having a webinar on Thursday, and there's information that we put out this afternoon, and I'm sure the county did too.
Thursday, what date?
This Thursday.
That would be
Having a
May
webinar,
21st.
In preparation of making that application.
Okay, thanks. Is there a time on that?
I forgot.
Oh, you put it on the,
We put it out on social media today.
okay, good. Ryan, do you have anything?
I have one quick comment. I think echoing a little bit of Nancy's sentiments, I think it's really important right now that we as a community, I appreciate all of the efforts that Karen has put in regarding the parks. I think they are, again, I know you have to follow a lot of the state standards, but I think the plan you've put in place is very practical. But I think it's important to note that our state in general has some of the toughest restrictions in the entire country. And when you look at the detriment to what's happening relative to our small businesses that are afflicting our area, I think it's super important that we are out there and we're supporting these small businesses, many of whom are, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm having a lot of trouble identifying the fact that, you know, we can walk into a Target and buy bathing suits, but there are small business owners that are closing their doors each and every day in Doylestown. And I think we have to pay very special attention to them to make sure that, you know, I love that this grant program was put into place by our commissioners. But I think as a community, let's make sure that we are patronizing them and showing them support during this. And hopefully, you know, hopefully we will be in the yellow phase, because as we know, and our commissioners have even said themselves, the way they have used the numbers to keep us in the yellow phase doesn't really match up with what's happening relative to community spread in Doylestown and in Bucks County. It's not anywhere near what is reflective in the overall numbers. So I'm hoping we can get to the yellow phase soon and we can get these businesses back open and we can start getting our economy going.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to reserve my comments for another time. So moving on to the next item on the agenda, Eagle Scout proclamation for Dennis Haschitz, Troop 71. Is there a motion to approve this proclamation?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then Treasurer's Report for May 19th, 2020. Is there a motion?
There's another item.
Did I miss something?
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. All right,
Emergency.
sorry, hang on. DEP postcard waiver with attachment. Sorry. For 3573 Bristol Road.
Yes. The information is there. They're having septic system issues. Bucks County can accommodate them at this point in time because they've purchased the Warrington system and have sewer accessible, and would recommend they be able to make that connection off of Bristol Road there.
Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, to allow these people to connect.
I will second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next, and almost finally, Treasurer's Report for May 19th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve the report?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ryan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Tied. We'll give that to Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Did you say what? Did you say yes? Yeah, okay. Bills list, May 19th. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second?
I'll
Anybody?
second.
Thank you, Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next announcement, our announcements. Tuesday, June 16th, we're going to have a budget meeting at 3 and a supervisors meeting at 5. We're closed on May 25th for Memorial Day and June 2nd for Election Day. And our golf outing is postponed until August 24th. So please look for further information. Everybody stay safe and stay sane. Good night. Thank you. We're adjourned.
you.
Night all.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Documents to be signed.
Do we need them to come in and sign documents?
I don't think, I think it would be okay. Ryan has to come sign some documents, but she's aware of it.
Orion has some stuff she has to sign.
But I do have,
Bye, Chief.
guys, I have, the bills, the checks for the bills list. Needs two.
Holy schnookers. Holy schmookers. Here,
I have,
we'll switch.
these over here.